I'm thirsty. Well, not that thirsty. Now, what you saw was slightly unusual and slightly not true. It's true that I was thirsty and there's plenty of water on the planet because roughly 2/3 of the planet is covered in water, but there isn't enough clean or usable water. According to a 2015 United States Geological Survey, 96.5% of Earth's water is in saltwater and oceans. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you live in certain parts of the world, and especially certain parts of this country, you might have an issue getting water. That is why water conservation should be a top priority for people across the country. Today, I'm going to take a look at some of the reasons why it is such a problem and some of the solutions to it. One of the major reasons that people don't think that water conservation is a big issue is because they have water near them and they don't think that it will affect them. But as residents in California can now tell you, it can affect you. Years of insufficient rainfall and drought have left the state in a state of emergency. And because of that, water rations have now had to be implemented across the state, with strict fines set if people fail to follow them. But still, some might say that there is water near them and it's not a drought, so why should I worry? But what some people don't realize is that people are not the only thing that need water. There are plenty of wildlife and livestock that require water as well. Farmers also need water for their crops that you most likely end up eating. In Texas, where livestock cover the majority of the state along with farms, a few years without sufficient rainfall can cause livestock to have to be sold or possibly die off, and can cause the herd sizes to diminish, which might take decades to fully recover. Now, some people might say that there's nothing that they can do to help with water conservation, but they're wrong. Plenty of things that people everywhere can do, ranging from voting on key bills to actually saving water themselves, are out there. It's actually pretty easy to conserve water yourself. Just turning the water off while you're brushing your teeth can save hundreds of gallons. And limiting the time that you water your lawn to early mornings or after sunset can also ensure that the water doesn't just evaporate because of the heat, but actually goes into the ground and nurtures the grass so that you don't have to water as often because your lawn is dying. Also, fixing broken sprinkler lines and removing non-efficient appliances from your house can also help conserve water. If you have a pool, don't empty it and refill your pool so often. Some people might say that they don't own a house with a yard and they can't help, but they're wrong too. You can always use your voting power to vote on laws that will help conserve water as well. For example, in California, where the water ration laws are in effect, they had to come from somewhere, and they came from voters like you. And those water ration laws have kept the majority of the state's counties during this drought from overusing waters, and it's only counties like Beverly Hills County where they are still violating them and getting fined. So now that you know more about water conservation, and that is something you can and should help with, go out and do it. Now I'm going to show you a video about water conservation in California in the drought that they're having.
ABC Family presents Beyond the Shadows, the making of Shadowhunters, and an exclusive look at Star Wars The Force Awakens, rated PG-13. It all begins Sunday at 9:30, 8:30 Central, only on ABC Family.
By this time tomorrow, California may be under strict new orders to cut back on using water, and we may only have a year's worth left. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cheryl Jennings in for Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. It's really bad. California has fallen short on its water conservation efforts, and tomorrow the
The State Water Board will decide on a plan to restrict landscape watering to just twice a week. ABC 7 News reporter David Louie is live in San Jose tonight with details on the plan and how water users hope to cope with these new rules. David?
Well, Dan and Cheryl, just last summer, many homeowners were letting their grass go. Here in Silicon Valley, there were signs sprouting up saying brown is the new green. And now, because of the drought, that may become a statewide mandate. The target is watering of lawns and gardens, which in urban areas accounts for 70% of water usage. The restriction will impact areas where local rules don't already exist. The twice-a-week rule would help boost the statewide goal to reduce consumption by 20%. Currently, the statewide average is just under 9%. But the tough restriction doesn't sit well with people like Luz Villa, who doesn't have a lawn, but she does have a large organic garden to feed her family.
I pretty much am self-sustainable. I want to be able to feed my family on my own without having to depend on going to the grocery store all the time. And I like to eat organic, so growing my own garden is especially important for me and the health of my family.
Nick Esquivel at Almaden Valley Nursery says the plan will be difficult for some property owners to handle.
It's hard to break a habit, if you're used to, 20 years I've been watering my lawn every day or every other day, it's hard to break that habit. But with watering it deeper, you can do it less frequently.
And by that, Esquivel means watering the lawn until it's about to run off, then wait 30 to 60 minutes before giving it one more soaking. He says that will promote deep root growth and minimize reduced watering. Another restriction under consideration would ban watering within 48 hours of any measurable rainfall.
Especially in the summer, most water is used outdoors. So it's really the way we can save water fairly easily is by cutting water outdoors. So we can make sure we have enough for those essential indoor uses.
It's not clear if violations of the restrictions will result in any fines or other enforcement action. In San Jose, David Louie, ABC 7 News.